All right, welcome everyone. This is a Viper Professional Training and Support webinar. Today's date is March 14th, 2017. This is a Tuesday night webinar, and the title of tonight's webinar is Training on New Features in Object Trader. And as everyone knows that's been to our webinars or our live trading room, everything that we say and do at Viper Trading Systems is for educational purposes only. Futures trading, forex trading, any kind of financial instruments trading involves risk. Therefore, there's always risk of loss. You should only trade discretionary capital, and that is money that you can afford to lose. Nothing said in this webinar. Other webinars we might have, our live trading room or anything else with Viper Trading Systems, should never be construed as trading or investment advice. And as always, everyone does trade at their own sole discretion. Any questions on the disclaimer? All right, we're going to go ahead and get started. Now, one thing I want to show you real quick, and I purposely put this at midnight because I want to show you something in Object Trader. When Object Trader goes from one day to the next, a session break, or I believe even here when it goes from 3:15, you know, when they shut down and then they go to the next session somewhere around this 5 o'clock area, I think it does it again. But what it does is it actually, let me put Object Trader on here first. What it does, it has a session type break. It auto disables at session break. And the reason for that is because there's really at a certain point no price, so there's no way to do math calculations or anything like that on raise lines, things like that. So it could be very deadly, you know, to, well, Object Trader could possibly fire a trade that wouldn't really even be real because it might think that the price was somewhere else. Okay, now it wouldn't affect your account, but it would probably put a message on the screen that said, hey, you know, you tried to fire a, you know, a limit order or something like that, you know, at way up at a wrong price or something that the price wasn't even there, you know, the type of errors you can get. Okay, so that's a new thing that we have added to it. Now I'm going to go ahead and put Object Trader on. Let's go back over some of the things that are in it, the new things, just so everybody's clear. The max quantity, you know, you want to set that at no more than you're willing to risk if it went into full auto mode. You know, like let's say that you went into auto mode with bar close and walked away and forgot about it. Well, you could get as many as 15 contracts, and every time it hit a target, it would even fire to keep it at that 15 level. Okay, so you want to put your max quantity, you know, at the price that you want it to be. Okay, and I'm going to put mine at 15 tonight just simply so that we can, you know, do some decent explaining and stuff like that. Okay, so I'll go ahead and put that on our chart. Now, one thing that you're going to want to do when you've got a session break like this, the best way to do if you're going to try to take a trade, like on wedge to give an example, would be to draw your wedge past that session break. Now, since I haven't actually started this little counter, this will probably go off on a bar close because this is the first time it's been turned on. Okay, so watch what it does, and I'll show you. We're going to go ahead and turn this on to take a short out of the line. Okay, but watch, if this bar closes, more than likely this will go off because it's the first bar that I've had on since I set my chart up. Let's see if it goes ahead and closes. It looks like a good trade though, doesn't it? A predictor trade. See if we can speed it up a little bit. Now, one thing I want to mention that with array line, and we're going to try to work on this and see if there's some things that we can do to it that make it even better. But when you draw array on your chart, technically in your chart, you may not be drawing along actual prices that like CL is at, for instance. You know, to give an example, like on this bar, CL went from 32 to 36, okay? But your array might be at 34.278, you see what I mean? You know, mathematically. So, you know, we've got this nearing the absolute nearest tick so that we can try to get in these trades. And, you know, he's going to work on polishing up the algorithm to see if we can really, you know, nail every single one of them. But we don't want it to be just a touch because, you know, the whole idea of having this line is so that you can actually use the close feature also. Okay, and that's going to come in powerful when we start using those that automatic trend line, which I'm hoping that that's as easy to add as I think it will be. Did anybody hear me talk about that in the room this morning? An auto trend line? Yeah, what it would actually do, it would actually draw the trend line on your chart, and all you'd have to do is simply have these turned off and decide if that's the trade you want to take or not. But it would draw it automatically. And you could have it trend specific if you wanted, so it would only draw short lines, or you could just turn this off and it would draw any one of them. In other words, you could take, short trade, long trade, short trade again, that type of thing. Okay, of course you're going to do it on a larger bar chart, more like this. Okay, and like I said, I highly recommend when you do these is you want to actually get these nice, a lot of bars up, because when they roll over, they'll usually go to a 50% level at least on those pullbacks, maybe even 61, and you can get those nice scalps. Okay, let's see if we lose our short enabled. I want to see if this session deal is doing what we want it to do. That's a 3-tick bar so far. I'll speed it up a little bit. See if this turns off. By the way, I'm checking everything as we're doing this in the mode. Now see, that actually went through the line right there. Now that's something that we're actually working on also, because if this actually closes, and that's mathematically probably on the line, so this bar has not closed yet. And I've noticed that sometimes though, that it won't even fire on this bar. Okay, and that's mostly when you start the thing out. And I've noticed that it's at these session times. Now what's the difference in when I actually do it like this and even click touch? It should go ahead and do it if it touches it on the outside of it. All right, and we're going to be debugging this tonight as we speak too. I've got Microsoft running just in case we run into any errors. I've been running this literally all day. As you can see, there's no errors. And it'll lock the program up if it runs into an error. Now, one other thing that I noticed, let me tell you how the math works on this this ray right here. Basically, if you have a wedge, you've got a top line and you've got a bottom line. So that makes this the bottom line for sure. Okay, but if you just have one line, then you got to be careful that you're on the proper side, because you can actually trigger a trade with the T button or the B button, and it does it just like I showed this morning on that sniper. And it gets a little, well, not complex, but you have to stop and think what it's actually doing. Okay, see, we just got our trade now. All right, now that's not where we want it, but I just wanted to show you that it will actually fire there. Okay, let's go ahead and we'll kill the trade. That's 130 bucks. That's enough. All right, so that's the way the ray should actually work. And like I said, we've noticed though that when you first start out, like with Market Replay or something like that, that you don't necessarily get, that first trade, and we got to figure that out. Okay, we're going to definitely figure that out. I'm going to go ahead and take a long trade if it happens to take out the trend line. We can draw our trend line like so. We'll see if we can get a little trade. Now see, this is the prices are below, so you would think you would be using this one. Oh wow, everybody said we lost audio. Just one sec. No, I'm actually still talking. Is everybody hearing me? Testing audio 1 2 3. Testing audio 1 2 3. Testing audio 1 2 3. Is anybody hearing me? No, I'm not muted. Testing audio 1, 2, 3. Testing audio 1, 2, 3. Testing audio. Anybody hearing that at all? You're hearing it now? This is crazy GoToWebinar sometimes. Okay. Well, I'm back. Yeah, I noticed that on the little deal where it shows you, like a little meter, it was off, but I did a sound check over here. See, like this, and you can see that it's actually clicking along. And is it nice and loud? Is it the right volume and everything? That's weird. That's really weird. Okay. Well, I apologize for that. We've been on GoToWebinar for a long time, so it should actually work, but it looks like we're working now. Okay. Well, that'll be a glitch in the webinar, but we'll just go ahead and play it by ear anyway. Okay. But what I wanted to show you tonight is, that the wedge trade, like I was saying, the one thing that we have noticed on it is that when you first fire it up on Market Replay, and even I have seen it in my live account now, which I'm not sure exactly what's causing it. We're going to have to get the programmer to actually do it. But you notice that this did fire on this line right here, just where it was supposed to touch. Just touched outside and then it fired the trade. Let's see if we can fire it again. I'll just go ahead and do another set of contracts right there on like a touch. We'll do that one on a touch +2 and see if it fires. Don't know if we're going to get it. We may head down, but we'll find out. I'll go ahead and put a ray underneath just in case we break down. And then we'll reverse it. All right, let's see what we get here. Now, the way this is designed is it's looking at this trend line. It's calculating the math on the chart, and it should fire that trade 2 ticks above that line mathematically with the price of the NQ. Okay, so if the line's not exactly at the NQ price, then it will sometimes wait an extra bar. Okay, let's see if we get anything. See, we didn't get anything. Oh, wait, I had reverse on. You can't have reverse on and add to a trade. Sorry about that. Okay, everybody sees that, right? I'm going to go ahead and get that where you can, because you can do it on PM. And I'm going to get it done where we can do it on wedge, on region, and all of them, so that we can add if we want to. Let's see if we can add again. We'll just simply try to add on touch there and see if it adds 3 more contracts. Just basically testing it out, in live webinar, training on it so we can all get good at it. Because once this thing really gets out of the beta mode, I plan on just using this thing every single day. And I've been doing it, to begin with, even while I was testing it. And it works pretty darn good, but there are occasionally times where you've got to move the ray for some reason. And we're going to figure that out. See if we can get another set of contracts. I'll speed it up a little bit more. See, because you should be able to add on. I've got 15 set on my contract, so obviously I should be able to go to 6 real easily. And we'll see if it touches above that line and fires the trade for us. Back to cost, not too bad. I'm going to leave a wide stop for right now just because I want to test this out. Everybody been playing with it and basically testing it in sim mode and everything, getting used to it? And that's what you definitely want to do. Don't put your live money at risk, just yet, because what you can actually do. Now, you can do that if you want to, but keep in mind that you want to look at your positions, make sure everything's the way it should be, and kind of go from there. Okay, we're kind of pulling down to support again right here. See it? That needs to hold because it's already checked here. See if we can get a little bit sharper angle. See, that's the beauty of this too. You can actually move it in real time. See if we can get 3 added on that. Now, I'm not saying you would do it there, but let's just see if it will, because it should. There you go. Okay, so it does absolutely work, and we just got to figure out, why that first trade in market replay that it doesn't, and I'm not sure exactly what's causing that. Okay. By the way, that's a decent little trade. We could close it out. See, it just hit the predictor right there. Now, it doesn't mean that it won't go higher. That's fine with me. Okay. But let's look for a predictor trade. And I want to show you a trade that we're going to add to Object Trader. All right. We're going to look for a predictor. And then I'm going to turn on bar close if it touches this predictor. See if we can get one. It's got to come down to it, though. Otherwise, we'll get a thrust again, and we'll wait for a retrace. That looks pretty good right there. It's close to the predictor within 2 ticks. I usually like to fire them about right through there. And there you go. You got it. It may come down a little bit further because it hadn't touched predictor yet. And by the way, you can turn it on again if you want. See, all you got to do is turn it on. And if it bounces off predictor, we'll be in 6. And we'll put our stop just under midband just in case they crater this thing. But we're going to add this trade to where you're going to be able to actually choose an offset, like say 1 tick or whatever you want, or you may want it to go inside a predictor, and that's fine, but you're going to miss some good trades. This one here, fired. This one, see, it just barely touched predictor and fired. This one went inside, would have fired, would have fired. This one here wouldn't have ever fired because it went in and never came back out. And then you got a trend change. Okay. That didn't turn out to be too bad of a trade. I'd go ahead and tighten my stop. See if we can get a pullback where we can tell where our lightning is. Looking to the left to trade the right. You got a high right over here that they haven't checked just yet. We'll go to break even on our stop. Okay, does everybody see how to use the wedge trade? Now keep in mind that the wedge is exactly like the sniper trade or any of those. And the way you have to think of it is the opposite. When you've got a bottom line, your long is inside. Let me just go over some of those things real quick again, because I know we did this in the room this morning, but I want to do it. I'm going to stop this and I'll show you. And I want to get anybody that has any questions, please ask, because we're going to go to the website. And we'll get Viper. Hopefully it'll go to our website. And we'll get our member login. What does everybody think about that one trade that I want to add? Do you like it? You like the idea of like a trend line type break type trade that would look for it automatically? I think that would really work. I drew them all over the chart this morning, and it's just incredible. It's just a ray. Yeah, it's just a ray. Let me show you on the sniper here. We'll go to this chart legend first here. Okay, has everybody looked at this particular little chart here that we did a long time ago? Because this will tell you, what T button stands for, what B button stands for. And this is actually talking about a region or even a sniper type trade, right? But keeping in mind that on a top button, like a top line, in other words, let's just say this is a region, top line and bottom line. Well, let's just say this is the bottom line, okay? So top line, bottom line. This would be long above, okay? Short would even trigger short above it and roll over, okay, if you were looking for a rollover above the region. And then long inside, okay, is actually below the line, so you'd be triggering a trade. With an example of like 2 ticks, you'd be triggering it right in here, okay? And I'm going to show you some of those examples on the wedge trader so you can see them in real, all right? But be sure and study this, because this shows, you know, how these top button and bottom button works and how each trade is triggered, okay? And when you put a single line on the chart like a ray, you're actually doing it either with the top button, and I would recommend using the top button for long outs, okay? And your also like your short inside, like if you want to fire a trade from a short inside the line. So I'd mainly use long out and short inside for the top button if I just use a single ray line. And then on this one, I would use the short out and then the long I, okay? So it's just the opposite. All right, so let's go ahead and go to the chart and see if we can get something. Let's see if we can get a little pullback or something like that where we can actually trigger a trade. Let's kill this trade right here. And what we're going to do is we're going to try to get a trade right here to fire. So I'm going to draw a ray. Okay, now this would be, my prices are above it, right? So this would be this button right here. So I'm going to actually set it for a long inside, like touch +2, and see if we can go ahead and get within 2 ticks of that line and fire this trade. See if we can get it. You could also say that it's doing a long outside, same thing. Okay, now that actually was a long outside the line. We didn't want that. We actually wanted this long right here. Let's go ahead and add contracts if it'll do it. This little support area should hold. See if we can get something. Long inside. Are you going to trigger for us or not? Oh, I've got it on bar closed. Yep, that won't do it. All right, let's see if we can get it. That's why that bar closed right up there. Sorry about that. Okay, long inside touch. We'll do it touch plus. I think we just missed it. We'll try to get touch +3, see if we can add. I just want to show you how the trades are fired. Not necessarily that you'd actually take this trade this close to the top, but if you did, I'd recommend buying support, not buying a breakout. See if we can get down there. Maybe not one more time. Probably won't. It doesn't look like we're going to get down there again. That's okay. We'll wait for a thrust and do it again if we can get one. Show you how this ray trade works. See if we can get down within a touch +2 of that. And we're only going to go for a scalp because that's been pretty long in the tooth. And by the way, you could be ready with something like that. If they break that trend line, you know, very possibly you could come down and check all the way to here, possibly even a phantom. You know, always looking at trend lines. So see, this is going to do a long inside right here, or even a long outside you could even do. We'll go ahead and do outside here, and then we'll do short out of the bottom one since we've got 2 rays. See if we can get something here. See if it'll fire. Picked a slow time. It's about 5 o'clock in the morning. So we got a ray on top. We got a ray underneath, and technically it's ignoring this ray. This is like it's ray right here. See there? I just triggered it by turning that one on because this is actually below the price, so you would actually turn the bottom one on. Now, if we actually wanted to trigger this trade right here, if it did happen to break it, we would just simply turn this on like that, and probably, we'll do a touch +3. And you could even turn that on and actually reverse the trade if you wanted to. And of course, if it gets the target, you'll need to turn the reverse off because it won't fire the trade. Hope I'm not making this, complex in any way, because, Object Trader has a little bit of thinking to it, especially when you're thinking about a line below price, because a line that's below price can all of a sudden be the same line that's above price, right? So that changes the way you think, because notice just a second ago that we needed to use that long inside because we were actually above the line. So technically we were on the B button. Okay. Now when you're inside a wedge, for instance, if we did something like this, then this could be a short and this could be a long. See, we could actually do something like that, fire a long, to add to our contracts if we wanted to. And then this could actually be a short if it happens to break our trend line. And we could simply set it on reverse. Okay, but right now it won't fire a long because reverse stops it from firing a long. Now we're looking for, either getting stopped out or even trend changing. Let's see if this will fire. This was that short this morning that just went through the roof. Remember it? I don't know exactly when it happened, but a trend line will sure catch it. Let's see if it's going to be too fast for Object Trader to catch it or what. I'll speed it up. Everybody see what I'm talking about, right? Where your price is above the line, price is below the line, T and B button. If you've got the line under like I had just a minute ago, you've got to use the bottom button. Okay. 6:30 a.m. was when that was. Well, we'll see what it does then. Because all you'd have to do is be prepared for this and see if you can get it. There you go. You just got it. Okay. And of course you could add to this. Well, look at that. That was a monster move. Now, what would you do if you missed this trade? Anyone? Well, what you could do, get rid of your raise. Okay. Now this I don't like particularly because it didn't go up, like 5 bars in a row or something like that. So this is fairly sloppy. So what you're going to want to do with that trade is either take a breakout trade, okay, or you're going to look to the left to trade the right, and you're going to see if you can get to this little level right across here, like so, which is at mid-band. So I'd be looking for short inside, short outside, and we'll just do a touch +3, and we'll go ahead and do our contracts like that. Okay? Because when they drop like that, if you take a breakout trade, everybody knows, right, that if this happens to break this support right over here, then you'd put your stop above the swing. And that's also a little stealth move. I'd probably take it at stealth instead, but I'm trying to show you how to use the ray. Let's see if that ray trade works. Okay, so we got it. Short inside at the top, short outside. There we go. We're in. Okay, see how that does? And then you could bring your stop pretty quickly, just to stealth or something like that, just in case this thing does decide to retrace on you. Okay. All right, so we have 2 rays. Now you can get rid of those at any time. Just hit your little delete button. Okay, and then the next trade that we're going to be looking for is a retracement, like in the mid-band, to give an example. I'm going to go ahead and go break even. And I'd probably let it take one of those contracts off. It's already taken one, but we need more than one off when it gets to predictor especially. There we go, we got it. Lightning swing, that's a really tight stop on that. But you can use that tight stop because a lot of times when they retrace, they'll go all the way back to here. Now, does anybody remember how we actually traded this in the room this morning at 8 o'clock? Because we got a nice little trade at 8 o'clock that was pretty good also. Now, this is pretty early in the morning right here, about 7, and it did a lot more movement than this. So tonight we're going over a little bit more the wedge trade, how to use it. You want to try a PM trade? Here's our wedge trade setting up again. Now what I want Object Trader to actually be able to do is I want Object Trader to be able to draw a trend line automatically. Matter of fact, let me get the right chart. Bear with me a second. We're going to look at this chart right here. Come on. All right. We've only got one bar so far, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to start a trend line actually drawing, okay? But we're not going to actually, until we get another bar up. In other words, you wouldn't actually have Object Trader ready to fire. I'll show you what I'm talking about. Now, what did I do? Now, let me get that. Hopefully it won't come back up that big. Ninja, you're being a little bit of a pain tonight. Okay. All right, so we'll put Object Trader on the chart. And we're going to see if we can do a trend line break again. And let's see if this is where this actually has the problem, because I'll be able to tell my programmer pretty easily if it does. All right, so this is going to be under the price, so we should do a short out. I'm going to do a touch plus like 3, but we're not going to turn it on just yet. I'm going to see if we can get a little bit more body, like so. See how I'm going underneath those bodies like that? Let's see, we're going to do the wedge reversal from a wedge trade. Well, you could actually have done a reversal on that, as a matter of fact. You want to see that in a few minutes, see if we can get a good reversal too? Now see, when they do this, what I want my programmer to do, see how that's making those bodies appear like that? I want this line to automatically adjust with those bodies. See what I mean? See how that went up, that went up, that went up? This one could easily go down, and we want to see if we can fire that trade. Let's just go ahead and go for a close. And we'll go for 3. Now let's see. If this doesn't fire, this tells me that the very first trade you put on these charts doesn't work. And I'll get my programmer to look at that and see why. Because remember, those others have been firing like crazy on the other chart. We just changed this chart first time. See if that bar closes and we get a trade. That's a mid-band trade, by the way. But I want this trade to literally draw itself and leave the disabled and everything. So you would choose whether to turn it on, okay? But let the auto trend line draw the trade, and then you just simply say, you know what, I think I'll take that. If it actually closes that bar, then you just turn that on. Okay? See if we can get something. Speed it up a little bit. If this doesn't get this is going to tell me that that first trade is what doesn't work. Now this is a pretty good sized bar when you use the larger Rankos like this. I'm going to take it anyway though. I want to see what it does. Because we could come down to here. Could also come down to here. There, we got it. Okay. All right, we're going to put our stop just above here with the exit on close. And we'll get our target. Whoop, don't want our stop out of the way. Want our target out of the way. All right. And by the way, you can also, if you want to, with larger bars, go ahead and just take the trade off the table if the bar closes back up. Okay, see how that nice little trade just fired? You got about $300 on it. And that trade fired up. For some reason we didn't, oh, it turned it off is why. I got to check into that too, because sometimes that goes off, but we're gonna fire it out if it closes up, giving us a second chance, isn't it? Now I don't like this particular trade as much right here, but see that predictor right there? If you're going to take that trade, you really almost need to be in the trade right now. You see what I mean? But we're already in a trade, so we're okay. But see how that hit perfectly at predictor? So we're going to fire this out if we happen to, and we got flat because we got our target, so we're good to go. Okay, let's see. So it does work on that first trade, Chris. I am not sure why, you know, occasionally when you start market replay anyway, that you're not able to get it. But, you know, it's one of those things that we'll definitely be working on to see if we can pretty much figure it out and fix it. All right, so we're looking for another trade, right? Maybe you need to get rid of the ray because it's already been used. I don't know. Let's see if we can get another one. These are big bars, so we're actually missing a pretty good trade because it went right into predictor. Yeah, we already missed it. We'll wait again. We'll see if we can get another one. Now see, that's one thing about bigger bars that you got to really watch because, see on a 4-range chart, let me show it to you. See how beautiful that was? Bam. Let's see if we can do it on this chart. We'll do a ray. We'll follow the bodies. That's still heading down a little bit right now. Let's just wait. We're not going to turn it on yet. Just leave our ray here for a minute. Let's see what we get. There we go. We're starting to retrace. All right, let's see if we can do it with the bodies here. I'm going to slow that down because it's going like 10 times. All right, so we're going to do it like this right here on a 4-range chart. Let's see what it looks like on the larger chart. See if we can get that trade also just for the fun of it. Okay, we didn't get that turned on. Let's see if we can get that. So we'll look at that trade and this trade. See if they'll fire. You wouldn't believe the mathematics involved in this. I looked at Object Trader and I thought, whoa, it's been a long time since my math. But if you saw the code on this thing, these lines are moving in real time. See, I can actually adjust this in real time. And it's recalculating exactly where that ray's at so that it can fire that trade based on a break of a touch plus 2, 3, or whatever you set it at, even being on the fly. Let's see if it fires. That's about 1 or 2 ticks so far. 1, it looks like. No dice yet. See the other one if it's fired. Not yet. It hadn't closed. I'll go ahead and put this always on top. Everybody see how to use the wedge tool tonight though? Let's see, do you wait for trade to come out of predictor to take the trade? Well, that's a different trade, John. What I'm talking about more tonight is actually the wedge type trade. But we're going to add some trades to our object trader. When you select your object type here in about a week, possibly a week and a half, it depends on how long it takes him, you're going to go from region, bar close, PM1, PM2, but then you're going to have another one called predictor. And that's basically going to be touching a predictor within X ticks and a bar close. Okay, so it would actually already be in this trade. Okay, because see, it touched it and it closed outside it right across here. You can tell if you draw a line there that that bar closed below that line. There we go. See, we just got it. Okay, so we've got a trade on our wedge. We haven't got this one because that's a big bar. Okay. Now, when I like to use this bigger bar, I like to have more than 1, 2, 3 candles. Okay, they work really extremely well when you look at like this, for instance, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, draw a line, down she goes. You can see it all over the place when you, and also when it gets that many in a row, not when it does the little zigzag. So, when you use the larger bar, you're going to want a little bit deeper retracements, like around mid-band, to give an example, and then fire that trade. Let's see if it works though. I'm going to take it anyway. And we're going to put our stop right across there with exit on close. Let's see, Gary, the wedge trade, first trade on real account, will it fire after session break? Well, Chris, on your question there, if you've just started a chart and it's just right around session break, it's got to have a bar close. So you're going to be watching the SE or LE up here, and if it turns off, you need to turn it back on quickly, because after a session, it's actually looking at that first closed bar. Okay, we're still in it. We got in a little bit prematurely on the 4 range. We haven't gotten in the larger bar yet. Let's see if it works. Now with a larger bar, you might want to scalp it instead, because look, if this closes, it may close all the way down to here, and you might not get 5 ticks. You see what I mean? So let's go with a little calculation. By the way, it's got I think we can get a little bar close deal that you can get online that'll show you where it should close, and you can calculate how far it is. But let's just go for 5 ticks on this one, since it's a larger bar. Just see if this works. Now looking to the left to trade the right, I'd probably be putting my stop actually above 47.83, above mid-band. That swing right there. If it takes it out, it takes it out. We haven't even gotten in this trade yet. We haven't gotten a scalp yet on this one. That's why I don't like the trend line as much on a 4-range bar, because there's too many little fake bars because they're so small. Probably if this even closes above this, I would get out and redraw my ray. See if it closes above that swing. And we'll redraw it and try to fire it again. Because see, when you're in the red, do you want to give it a lot of wiggle room? Well, I don't, because you've got a low, a high, a higher low, a higher high, and a little higher low. So this could actually take out this high pretty easily. So I'm going to just put the stop just above that swing right there. That's lightning. I'll do it manually. Let's speed this up. Yep, I'm closing it. All right, but we're going to go back in the ray. This one hadn't even fired. Notice that? There you go, and you got this one about the same time. So actually that was a better bar, wasn't it? We got our 5 ticks, and we got our target on that one too. Everybody see why I went ahead and got out of that trade? Because with a 4-range bar, we were actually doing this little bit right here. You were doing lightning up. I'll draw it. Well, have I got lightning on this chart? Must not. I think I've got a wrong template because I don't have lightning on this chart. Yeah, I do. You should, oh, it's on control. Well, I'll use control then. Yeah, see, you were actually going thrust, retrace, thrust, retrace. So when it took out this little swing across here, that was a good way to get out of it. And then, that way you can get back in and you don't give up too much money. We got a nice trade. Everybody see that? Try it one more time, just see if it works. This one, since we're not taking out the lows, I would scalp this. Didn't trigger it yet. There you go. So you can scalp these things all day long, I think, if you just draw them right. And if they go against you, obviously you want to get out fairly quick. Okay. Now this is about 8 o'clock when we actually got in, remember? When I called the trade in the room. Let me slow this thing down a little bit. Everybody remember where, matter of fact, I think we pretty much got in this trade, didn't we? This morning, because I called an out at 72, and then we got back in on the rollover, which was basically just under predictor, but you could also draw a trend line and use the wedge trader. Okay. Now, the one thing I would not recommend doing would be to use the new auto wedge on a smaller chart. I would probably want it to at least, we're going to put an offset and everything on it. So you're going to be able to tell it, like I want, 5 bars to give an example. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rollover. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4 wouldn't have caught it. 1, 2, 3 wouldn't have caught it. Now you could miss some good trades, but your better trades are these deeper retracements, especially when you're going to use a 10-tick bar rollover. Okay. But the way I plan on doing this is this will actually start drawing this, when it starts getting these candles up, it'll just pop a trend line in and it'll adjust it accordingly with the bodies in real time. And then you just simply turn that on. Okay. Let's see. What about, does it work on first trade on, it should, Chris, because it does work, for me. One thing about running the room and also trying to use some of these tools, a lot of times when I see a trade and I say that I'm going to get in at, 72 rollover, I hit market, because trying to run a room and everything is a little tougher. Okay. Now let's look and see what this new trade will do once we get the predictor trade. I'm going to turn these off and we're going to just fire some predictor trades, but they're going to be automatic in the very near future. All right, so we're going to look for this trade right here, which it's already done, right? So let's look for another one. That one's already fired. See if we can find another one. And I'll just turn on bar close if we see one. Okay. Okay, that's a pretty good little thrust down. See if we can get a pullback. Now, it doesn't mean we couldn't have taken this trade, obviously, because your array trade, you could easily do that. But what I'm going to show you is how this new predictor trade is going to fire. Bar close to the downside. It went into predictor. If it closes below that, there's your trade. Okay? Now, does it mean we'll get a monster move? Not necessarily. So we'll put a nice tight stop just in case. We're just going to scalp this. See if we can get another one and another one. Let's see if we automated this thing, if it'll actually, pay off in a big way. That's $150 per trade. There's 150. All right. Now let's see if we can do it again. We don't care what it does to the downside. I'm talking about predictor trades. Oh, that one was too quick. We'll fire it anyway. There you go. Got 5 ticks. See how it hit predictor and I fired it. I was moving it 300 times, so that's a little fast. Needed to slow that rascal down. Okay. Everybody see how that can work? That's going to be called the predictor trade, which is actually pretty cool. Let's see if we can catch another one. Now keep in mind, we're going through hours of, data and everything. So what I'm trying to do is do this manually, but the trader's going to do it automatically if you want it to. You'll just turn it on. Okay, we're going to look for a predictor. There's our predictor. Touches the line. I'm going to turn on bar close to the downside. Too quick. We're still okay. There it is. Just in case. See if that one works. Maybe, maybe not. That one's going to get stopped out, you can tell. It's got a higher predictor. We're going to do it one more time. I'm going to go ahead and close that out because see that higher predictor print right there? That's kind of telling me that it's going to go higher. So we're going to go mid-band on this one. See if we can get it. And keep in mind, this will fire automatically because it's going to look for that trade. See if we can get it. A little retrace happening right now. Maybe. That predictor is a little lower. See, the way that'll do is it's automatically going to look for your offset like that. And see, that would have already fired on that bar automatically. Now I'm waiting on this next bar, unfortunately. There we go. We got the trade. Let's see if we can get 5 ticks. See if we can get 5 ticks without getting stopped out. Oh, by the way, you can a lot of times trust the predictor with exit on close too. Because if it pops above that predictor right there, we're more than likely, not in Kansas anymore. We're going to be starting to head back up. And it looks like it's going to give us a trade. Pretty cool, huh? Is it going to stop us? It might. Notice how it printed that predictor a little higher again. Now, just in case, I'm going to lower this stop because I'm not going to let them come back up again. Let's see, wish the market moved that. Yeah, I know what you mean. I'd love for it to move this fast. Now, keep in mind, we could go ahead and keep a runner going on this, right? Everybody? We could also use our trusty little tool. It's already broken it, though. See the ray? If you went like that and then drew, like we teach that little Y type trade, you could actually get in on that bar. This one here would have been more like this, and then you would have gotten in on this bar. This is the way I used to draw these in the room all the time, remember? And you could get on that bar as it rolled over. See, because they usually do that, kind of follow a trend line, and then they'll kind of pop up and then they break. And that was the whole reason of making this particular tool so everybody could use it in real time and get some decent trades. Okay? Almost out of time, but let's see if we can get another trade. Okay, we got to get a thrust first. We got to get a little pullback, right? Let's see if we can get a trade. Now, by the way, this looks like a decent trade right through here, too. Does that look decent? It's a little resistance area. If it blows through it, it shouldn't fire it. Oh, we're on bar closed. There we go. Let's see if that one works. It didn't fire. Not yet, anyway. Touch. Do a touch +1. Well, we're going to skip that one. We'll draw a trend line instead and see if we can get it. You could do a breakout trade, see how you could actually break through here. You could move this thing in real time and it should actually fire it too. And I'm not exactly sure. We went from bar close to wedge. There it is right there. It's short inside. Let's see if that trade works. It may not. I'll go ahead and put a stop here just in case. Just in case. like that, just in case. See how you can use this little thing though? We talk about boxing in at the open and things like that. Well, until we get that region trade, and keep in mind that new region trade that we're going to add to Object Trader, you're going to really like it because, to give you an example, let's just kill this. Let's leave the trade on. You're going to be able to draw in real time like a region box. Let's say, for instance, you just wanted to see if this trade would work right here. Bias to the short side, see, it would have fired right there. See how that would work? That new region trade, all you'd have to do is put that in region mode and set it accordingly, and it would have fired that trade automatically. So the region trade is going to be cool because you'll be able to move it around in real time. You know, for instance, if I even wanted to take a chance, you know, like let's say that I wanted to take that trade back to the upside, to give an example. If it happened to break this little box, you're going to have that ability to do that if you want. Let's see if we can get a trade like that. I'm going to box this in. If it keeps going down, it's no big deal. But I want to see, because it should retrace at least to here. So if this takes out our ray with a touch +1, I didn't turn it on in time, because that was my ray right there. And see, and that's probably because that actually popped too many bars and everything. But the new region trade will fire that trade right there, and you'll get some of these monster trades like this. Everybody see a difference right here? You changed trends, didn't you? Do you see how this new trade would actually trigger that trade right there on like this bar right across here? You get this monster trade here. Pretty cool. Another trade just set up right here. I've got it going too fast to trade it, but you can see it here and here. That'll be an automatic trade. That'll be an automatic trade. Okay. Like I say, I think you'll like it. Oh, it was on region instead of duh. That didn't help me, did it? That's one thing about object types that you got to get used to. You know, if you think you're in wedge but you're not, then obviously we didn't get that trade. But we would have, wouldn't we? Okay, and you could have gotten it like this too. You didn't have to take a chance. This is a risky trade, but what about this one? Breaks the trade, hold it at support, and off it goes. Lots and lots of choices on here. Look at this trade even again right here. Now be careful when they've gone 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. More than likely, you'd probably get a short right under here for a scalp. Let's see if we can scalp that. Yeah, see there? We just got us a little region break trade, and see if we can get 5 ticks. Yep, see there? And if you think about it, with oil, 3 contracts, that's $150 every single time that did that. Definitely not a bad way to trade. Okay, well, it's 8 o'clock. What does everybody think? You want to go ahead and wrap? Tonight I went over the wedge trade and how to use it, and the next webinar we have, we'll go over the PM trades. And keep watching your emails, because as soon as the programmer gets these other trades, you're going to get them, because I want them on my charts and you're going to get them. So this trade will automatically trigger, this trade will automatically trigger. We're going to have a trend line trade that'll actually look for these trades if you want them to. I'd recommend doing it on, like I said, larger bars, because those actually work quite well. Look at, to give an example, see this trade right here? Even though this is a long move, how about this trend line right here? Right along the bodies of those candles, and then it fires the trade on that bar, and you got a short trade. So while everybody else is waiting for the retrace back to the upside, you could be up 20 ticks. Because that went, you know, for instance, if you have your new offset and you say, I want at least 5 candles, well, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So that hit the criteria. The line would start drawing, and then when it breached it, it would fire the trade. Okay, and we're gonna get it to where it'll do it in real time, and it'll follow these bodies and actually fire the trade when it gets the body to cross the line. Yeah, the offset's very important because you don't want to just take a trade because the bar closes up. Okay? You don't want to take a trade. To give an example, like in chop, you know, what if it does this? Up, down, double bottom, up, down, up. That's really not a good area to do that. But in predictors, it is. So I just turn on my predictors then. But when you see these monster nice moves where they get at least, you know, 5, this one right here even probably would have paid off. Yeah, you would have gotten at least 5 ticks even on that one. See what I mean? So you could have shorted that. You could have shorted this one. And it'd be more of a counter trend type trade. All right. Yeah, that's like a market flow type filter Ed's talking about, because what you're looking at is you're looking at, you know, at least some bars up or some bars down to trigger that type of trade. Okay? And the same way on the short side. What do you want to do? Well, let's see if it'll work just for the fun of it. We're heading down. We've got at least 5 candles, right? So let's see if we can get a quick little long trade. And we'll just go for 5 ticks. I do have it in wedge, do have it in long out, so it should fire. That's a long bar though, isn't it? That's the only thing about a big bar. There you got it. See if we can get 5 ticks. 5 tickers, 5 tickers. 5 ticks, we'll see. Got it. Definitely not going to be a bad way to trade. Okay? Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it. Object Trader is going to be literally changed to Object Power Trader. We're going to have those extra trades in there. You're going to have the auto trend line. You're going to have the predictor PM trade, and you're going to have a predictor trade. And we're going to also fix the little exit on close, you know, where it doesn't do the right amount of contracts until you click it off and back on. We'll fix that also. And we'll look for any glitches too, because, you know, Object Trader is about, I think it's up to about 23,000 lines now. So, you know, there's a lot to it, and you can run into things. So, you know, always be careful and check it out, because, you know, we're in beta mode right now. We're checking this thing out. Now, see, I wouldn't draw a trend line here. That's too sideways. See it? Isn't it? I mean, why would you want that trade? Now, would you want the predictor trade? I think I would. I'm going to do it on the 4 range chart, and then we'll wrap. Already got one. Let's see if we'll get that one. We'll wait for it to get there. We'll draw our line. That's what Object Trader will be looking for with an offset. And then we're going to just turn it on and fire the trade if the bar closes down. Oh, okay, Mary. Well, we haven't got it yet. It may take a while to get it too. We'll find out. I'll just speed it up and see if we can get a trade. I want to show you how these predictor trades can work, at least for scalps. There's your predictor trade now. There it is. Now keep in mind, Object Trader wouldn't fire that trade until the bar closes down. See, and it looks like we're going to get 5 ticks again. There you go. Pretty cool. Would have done it again right here too, 5 ticks. All right. So let's go ahead and wrap, and we'll trade the Fed stuff tomorrow. Thanks everyone for coming. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll get these out as quick as we can. Bye everyone, and thanks. Yeah, sorry about that audio earlier. I don't know what happened with GoToWebinar. It just said it was connecting, like it probably lost Wi-Fi or something. Who knows? All right. Thanks.